Okay, good. They keep coming in. Well, good afternoon, folks. Good day, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm Paul Salmon, and welcome to another edition of Headlights Live. Really happy that you have taken the time out to be with us today. So, as always, the van line is providing various services and information to our network. And many of you are small business owners, so it's kind of critical, this topic that we're going to talk about today, that you're aware and you're able to protect yourself from the outside forces, so to speak. So that means our topic today is going to be internet safety, which I am not going to be the one speaking of that, but we'll get to that real soon. So before we do that, we have a sponsor today. Typically, for the last three Headlights Live, we've had a sponsor. Today, our sponsor is Gemini Advanced Marketing Solutions. And if you are looking at the screen, Claire is our contact. If you have any questions, reach out to her. And thank you, Gemini, for your sponsorship. Also, we've got a number of our agents who have been silver certified. And there are some of you out there who are still not silver certified. If you are interested, send an email to training@wvlcorp.com and we'll get you started and get you silver certified. And here's an opportunity also for you to promote your business, your organization, is to take your smartphone and do a 60 to 90 second video of a little bio about yourself, your agency, a little history, a little something that you do very well or unique or something like that. Put that on a smartphone and email it to wheatonmarketing@wvlcorp.com or text it to 317-518-1059. And if you feel a little uncomfortable about it, you're welcome to send it to anyone in the sales and marketing team and we'll help you critique it. Doesn't have to be a big production, but this is your opportunity to promote yourself on this platform. So we have one today from Chris Egan.
I'm Chris with Bell Moving and Storage. We have been a Wheaton agent since 1986 and been in business since 1922, so 103 years. We do a little bit of everything. We do a lot of origin and destination international work. We do local moving. We do interstate moving. We do commercial moving. We're in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we'd be happy to connect with more agents in the network and help anybody out.
Good. See, that was pretty easy. So if you get an opportunity to do this, like I said, you could be featured on one of these. You just have to continue watching them and being a part of them just to see if yours show up that day. All right, so each month we try to acknowledge some of what I call the face of our network, and those are drivers. And this month we have two drivers that we've selected to be drivers of the month. It's October. We have Patrick Basham from Boyer-Razine Moving and Storage in Arlington Heights. This is his 7th driver of the month, and Patrick was also the 2022 driver of the year. And we have Robert Cordiero, who is from Mafucci Moving and Storage in Amityville, New York, and this is his 2nd driver of the month. So if you happen to see these folks come into your location, your facility, give them an extra cup of coffee, some water or something, pat them on the back, and say, thank you for your service. Okay, more acknowledgments, agents of the month. We have 2 brands, obviously, so we select one agent of the month for each brand. And for this month, for Wheaton, we have Preferred Movers of Tennessee in Crossville, Tennessee. This is run by Bob and Lori Crumples. They've been around for quite some time. This is their 13th agent of the month, and they were most recently agent of the year in 2023. So reach out to them, give them a little kudos because it may be you next. And for Beacons, we have Mafucci again, Moving and Storage in Amityville, New York. They have, this is their 8th agent of the month, and they were recently agent of the year in 2017. Judd Levine, who's the president, reach out to him. Congrats to him. These guys are just a staple of our network. So if you get an opportunity, please reach out to these folks and say congrats because it could be you next. All right. So we talked about internet security. By the way, if you have questions, put them in the chat box, please, and we'll do our best to make sure we answer your questions. This month, we're going to talk about internet safety. And this is something that's kind of I don't want to say a buzzword, but it's something that's out there that we have to be aware of. We've got the outgoing CIO, Jared Carter, and we've got the incoming CIO who's already here, Christian Fordham. So I'm going to turn this over to Jared Carter to introduce Christian.
Thanks, Paul. I am very happy to introduce you all to our new CIO, Christian Fordham. When I let Mark know quite a while back that I would be retiring, we began an exhaustive look for a replacement for this position, and we had a lot of great candidates. Almost 50 applications were submitted, and we went through them all and interviewed a lot of them. Christian was our best fit, and based on everything we could determine during the interview process, we went ahead and hired him. And as many of you know, not everything is always the same once you hire in the selected candidate, so it's always a bit of a leap of faith. In this case, Christian came in 2 months ago on September 23rd, and we've been thrilled to find out that everything we saw during the interview process was validated and that he's even better than we had hoped. Christian came from a shop, Australian Gold, where he had raised up through the ranks starting in software programming. And as we spend much of our time in IT building out the Access Wheaton Beacons website, he's proving to be very valuable in that area. His experiences in infrastructure, staff management, IT support, and as you're about to hear for yourself, cybersecurity are all going to benefit you and the van line for a long time to come. Australian Gold, his last company, also had a network of tanning salons that were independently owned and operated, and not entirely dissimilar to the van line agent model we all experience here. So even there, he's a great fit, great find for us. So I couldn't be happier retiring, knowing that he'll be taking Wheaton Beacons forward and on to the next level. With that, Christian, the floor is yours.
Sorry about that. Got to unmute first. Thank you, Jared. Very kind words, and I feel tremendously blessed to be with great company, Wheaton Beacons, and to be part of this journey. So thank you. Cybersecurity, as we take a look, just kind of relating this initial story here. About a year ago, a small company that was a little bit too compliant was hit with a ransomware attack. That ransomware attack encrypted all their files, their data, and a ransom was demanded. The business never fully recovered from this ransomware attack. This isn't uncommon. It's something that occurs every day. So I want to drive through a little bit of some of the statistics in cybersecurity, just to give you an idea and to help you think kind of long term about your business and about the importance of cybersecurity. We won't go through all these, but these slides will be available for you to review later. But as you see some of these statistics, they may ring a bell with you, and we'll dive into some of these tactics a little in here in just a little bit. But for this one, the human error is a big part of cybersecurity. Employees in small business experience 350% more social engineering attacks than in larger enterprises. So just because you're a small business, or maybe a small business, or medium-sized business, doesn't mean you're immune. In some instances, may mean you're under a little bit more of an attack. Credentials are a big part, often a big part of cyber attacks. So I just want to make sure you kind of understood some of what occurs in cyber attacks and how prevalent it can be. So cyber criminals, first of all, you got to realize cyber criminals thrive on complacency. Being complacent in the world of cybersecurity just means that the attackers, the hackers, have one step up. And we'll talk about some of the tactics that they use and some ways that we can mitigate or reduce that risk for your business. So one of the first ways that attacks occur are ransomware. And ultimately, if you think of a virus or malicious software, um, it's used to gain access to your systems, your files, your data, at which point it encrypts those files and that data, and renders them completely unusable. And then a ransom is demanded in order to decrypt those files or that data. The unknown about it is whether or not the attacker is going to actually decrypt those files once a payment is made. Next, phishing. So phishing is a technique, typically via email, sometimes text, chat, or even voice calls, that's used to trick individuals into revealing personal information. Spoofing is another form of attack. And this technique imitates a trusted system, often a trusted website, a banking site, a financial institution site. Could be something as easy as or as simple as a Microsoft account site or Google account site, where they utilize those sites to gather data from individuals that aren't paying enough attention to that ultimately provide personal information. Then that personal information is used in attacks. Malware. Malware has been around for a long time. You've probably heard the term. It's basically just malicious software that is used to exploit or to harm programmable devices, such as computers, tablets, cell phones, etc. This next one, social engineering. So that's a little bit newer on the cyber attack forefront, but it's a technique of gathering personal information to be used in a cyber attack. And the way that the hackers gather that information is often from corporate web pages, from social media accounts, and other online resources. And they use that personal information that they gather, and they connect dots and connect individuals within a company. And then they can utilize that information to create fake attacks or spoofing, the phishing attempts, and even AI attacks that are ultimately meant to fool people into providing further information or distributing financial means. So to continue down, so man-in-the-middle attacks are techniques where a hacker will secretly relay or alter communication between two parties. Denial of service attack. This is attack where it's designed to overwhelm a system. Sometimes you can't get to a website. That potentially could be because of a denial of service attack. Basically, they're flooding that site or that system with so much data or so much traffic that the site can't respond. And in conjunction with that, this distributed denial of service, a DDoS attack, is where they're doing the same type of denial of service. They're flooding a site or a system with too much traffic, but they utilize previously compromised equipment. Could be equipment from around the world, and launch the attack from that compromised equipment. So it's multiple computers or systems attacking all at the same time. And then finally, this voice and video AI injection. This is a newer form as well. This is a technique where they're using AI to inject content into video and voice streams. even online meetings such as Zoom or Teams calls. So we're going to step into some ways that you can help deter these threats. So first, we talk about keeping systems updated. We're talking about security patches and updates that would come from that software or system provider. Very common one is the Windows operating system. A lot of business computers and devices run Windows. And if you're not currently running Windows, if you're running Windows and you're not currently running Windows 11, you need to look at upgrading those devices. Any version prior to version 11 is not currently supported from Microsoft, which means it's not getting security updates. So as hackers are finding more security holes in software, previous versions of Windows, those are not getting patched by Microsoft or other providers. So they become more risk as time goes on. Also, kind of in conjunction with that, when an update to software is applied, you need to make sure that you reboot that device, reboot that machine. In Windows, if you do an update, there's often in the lower right-hand window of or corner of Windows, you'll see this little icon that this arrow is pointing to. And that means that your system needs to be rebooted. It means the update has been installed, but it's not applied. It's not actually active. So it's not really providing any benefit. Once you reboot, then Windows will activate that new update, and then you gain the benefit of it. Don't forget to update mobile devices. They're just as susceptible and sometimes more susceptible than other systems and other electronic devices. Ensure that you're updating other business software regularly. And then if you're using any type of cloud applications with your business, those systems are often kept up to date by the provider. I would just recommend that you check with those providers to ensure that those updates and security patches or security updates are being applied regularly. Next, passwords. Highly recommend using dual factor authentication. If an account is compromised, but you have dual factor authentication, then it becomes much more difficult for an attacker to get in, even though they may have those credentials. Use a password manager. This is another one that I highly recommend. Passwords need to be complex and they're not always easy to remember. Password manager helps in that instance. You can store each account that you have in a password manager with the appropriate credentials. But one of the most important things I think about a password manager is it helps really ensure that you're not going to a spoofed site. Password managers will often load your account information, so your username and your password into that site or into that system. And if it's a spoofed site or system, then a password manager will detect that and not provide those credentials. So it provides another layer of safety. And again, in this image on the right, there are down at the bottom is a list of some of the common password managers that you could be using. Also recommend to not reuse those same credentials or variants of those credentials for multiple sites. Be unique with each site. Use the password manager and be unique with every site. If one site or one system is compromised, somebody's figured out or hacked the credentials of that system, you don't have to worry about those other systems. because they would have unique credentials. Periodically change your passwords, update those passwords. Don't leave an account out there for years with the same passwords. The longer it's out there, the greater the chance that somebody um, could hack those credentials. And then finally, use strong passwords or complex passwords. In a password, use uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and special characters, and create a long password. In fact, a lot of passwords managers will automatically generate a random series of characters to be used as your password. You're using the password manager, it's going to save that information for you, and you don't have to remember it. So it's there and has that data for you, and it's a very strong and long password. So the next item in deterring threats is security awareness training. This is another one that I can't emphasize enough. Most security breaches involve human error, and security awareness training is there to help employees, help individuals to identify and understand potential threats, and how to deter those threats, which helps eliminate the human error. And as I said previously, the majority of cyber attacks involve human error. So if you can get trained and do this training at Wheaton, we do a very short, it's like, maybe takes a couple of minutes. We send out these trainings to every employee every week. So once a week, we all get a quick little brief training just to keep our skills up and to help the employees and the business reduce that risk by lowering the chance that there's a human error. In fact, I'll throw out a quick story. At my previous employer, we had a chemist. It was a smart guy, sharp guy, and he fell for a phishing attack. So he wasn't trained or hadn't paid attention to some of the trainings that he'd received, and didn't see the red flags that came in an email that said, "Hey, this isn't a legit email." He clicked the link in the email. It took him to a site, asked him for his Microsoft credentials. He didn't think about it, didn't realize that it was a spoofed site, entered his credentials. And within 30 minutes of doing that, a hacker had gained access to his ADP payroll account, and had changed his automatic deposit to a different banking account. Fortunately, at Australian Gold, the HR department had notifications set up so that when an employee changed their deferrals for their paychecks, they got a notification, and they had a manual process in place where somebody from HR would talk personally with that employee saying, "Hey, did you make this change? We just want to validate." Because of that, he saved his paycheck, because as soon as he responded and said, "No, I didn't make a change to that automatic deferral or that automatic deposit," HR contacted me immediately, and we were able to get the hackers out of his account, to change his credentials to more secure credentials. And then we went on to do a little bit of training to help him prevent that in the future. So human error, I mean, he should have identified that it was a phishing attack. He missed that. Another human error. He used the same credentials for his Microsoft account that he used for his payroll account, that he used for his online banking accounts. And so those hackers very quickly gained access to some of those other accounts. So it was a good learning experience for him, and fortunately, he personally was not out any of his paycheck. And also, again, if he was using a password manager, that password manager would have caught that as well. Next item is in deterring threats is MDR versus antivirus. So an MDR is a managed detection response. Antivirus focuses on known malware or known viruses. So they're things that have been out, and sometimes they've been out for days, weeks, or months before the antivirus software is updated. During that period of time, compromised systems could still be at risk. So it's an antivirus is a reactive system, a reactive application. Doesn't mean that it's bad. Antivirus software is very good, and everybody should at least be running some antivirus software. On the flip side of that, as we look at MDR, MDR is a proactive solution. It's detecting new threats. It's detecting not just viruses and their signatures, but it's also detecting the way that systems are being used within your environment. And so it can detect viruses or malware as or attacks as they're occurring, not just after they've already occurred. So it's a much more proactive system. Unfortunately, they are typically an MDR is a little bit more expensive on that, but the benefits are better protection as well as providing expert support. And again, the image on this slide provides a couple of, 3 different MDR solutions that are available. There's many more out there, but these are some of the common ones. So as we come to artificial intelligence, hackers are using AI and various techniques with AI in a very rapid manner. They're becoming more difficult or more dangerous, I should say, with the use of AI. So just some basics with AI. AI tools are fabulous. They're great tools to use. Just be careful with sensitive data. Don't upload your customer data to online AI tools. And be cautious with those responses that you're getting back. Responses from AI tools are not 100% accurate. It's based typically off of information that's out in the internet, and not all information in the internet is accurate. So sometimes those responses aren't 100%. I like to think of AI tools as a thought partner, not something to replace a task or a position. And then also with AI, just be alert and aware in online meetings or voice calls or other forms of digital communication. Last year, there was a company in Hong Kong that fell victim to a deep fake attack. A deep fake attack is where a hacker will be live on a call, so like a Zoom or a Teams call, online meeting, or a voice call, and they use AI face swapping and voice swapping techniques to pretend to be a different individual on the call. And so with this company in Hong Kong, an employee thought they were in an online meeting with their CFO and other employees from the company, when in fact all those other employees and that CFO were hackers using deepfake techniques. And ultimately, the employee was duped into transferring more than $25 million to various Hong Kong banking accounts. So that company lost big. Another instance of this is Ferrari. Most of you are probably familiar with Ferrari automobiles. Ferrari was also hit with a deep fake attack, almost the same way that that company in Hong Kong was. However, one of the executives that was on the call, that one of the actual executives of Ferrari, um, was suspicious about what the CEO was demanding or asking during that call, and so he asked the CEO a personal question. So he had recommended a book to the CEO the week previously. So he asked on that call, he said, "Hey, what's that book that I recommended to you last week?" And the deepfake hacker that was pretending to be the CEO had no clue. And that just was an instant tip off to that executive. So he ended the call. And ultimately, I'm sure he saved Ferrari millions of dollars. So just be aware. Little quick on the click there. So some additional thoughts, avoid things like public Wi-Fi particularly when you're dealing with sensitive data or sensitive tasks, customer data or financial data. Definitely do backups. If you as a business are hit with like a ransomware attack and your files are encrypted, the only way to get out of that may be to restore from a backup. So use backups and keep those for a period of time so you can ensure that you don't fall subject to those types of attacks. Secure your data or secure your digital devices and any paper files that would contain any type of sensitive information. Keep those locked up in secure places when they're not being utilized. And also, a lot of particularly network equipment, but a lot of computer equipment often comes with default administrative accounts. Make sure that if you're acquiring equipment and it has a default type administrative account, that those default accounts are either disabled or that they're changed. If they're left at default, that's just an open door for an attacker. And then a final thought really is that there's a lot of information that I provided and a lot of things. I hope it's not overwhelming or have you too much in panic. My point today is really to make you aware and aware that there are solutions and things that you can do and things that you can start doing today. So you don't have to be perfect in order to avert an attack. But just work on improving a little bit each day. And that's all I have, Paul. So I'll send it back over to you.
Good. Thank you, Christian. Appreciate all of that. Lots of good information. And while I think we have a couple of questions, but while I'm getting to these questions, the rest of you start thinking of questions. So, question, Christian, is do you not recommend Google Password Manager?
Um, Google Password Manager, I have not used it previously, so I'm not going to say I wouldn't recommend it. Google Password Manager probably is an adequate solution. It definitely is much better than not using a password manager at all, for sure.
Okay, good. And another question I have is cyber insurance useful for worst case scenarios and potential losses down the line?
Hi.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
let
I
me
would
get,
say that
no, let me get
from
I'm in
an
here.
insurance perspective, cyber insurance can help you recover financially if you are compromised or you fall for a cyber attack, or your business, I should say, is hit with a cyber attack. Cyber insurance is there to help you in that recovery process. Um, it does. There is often a few things that are required. You have to go typically through an assessment so they can judge where your risk is as a business. How many cybersecurity measures do you have in place, and how robust are those processes and services and systems that you're using. and then they assess and come up with a price tag of what they want to charge you for that insurance. But I would recommend definitely taking a look at cyber insurance.
So basically, for the folks on the call, if you don't have that and the insurance guy comes by, you probably should have a conversation with that person, correct?
Yep.
Okay, good. Um, Let me see if there's any other questions. Okay, seems like there aren't any other questions. So for those of you on the call, if you happen to come up with a question after we're done, please feel free to reach out and we'll do our best to make sure that we address it. Wait. Okay, let's see here. Okay, one person says they have the insurance, but they wanted an opinion on it. So thanks. You did a good job there, Christian. Okay, all right. No other questions. Oh, wait. Where is this? How to keep up with it all. I'm not sure I understand that. Maybe that's a comment or a question, Karen. How to,
Karen, I would say that it is difficult to keep up with it all when you're running a business. And sometimes you need to involve a partner to work with. So there's companies out there that you can work with, like those MDR solutions, those MDR providers, are companies that can help you with that. They've got experts and they can help you with that security footprint, and keeping up with it in the future.
Good. Excellent. Um, let's see. There's more. Let's see. No. Great work. Good job, Kristen. Appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, so a little bit before we go, just a couple of upcoming events. Tomorrow, we have the Marketing Success Group, which is run by Jamie Shook, our Director of Marketing. If you have not attended those meetings, you either start tomorrow or start real soon because it's an opportunity to exchange ideas and share yours and get some. What I can guarantee you is that you will leave that meeting with whether reiterating something you already know or learning something brand new. Also, the next Headlights Live is December 17th, or the next Marketing Success Group meeting for December after tomorrow is the 16th of December. And the Headlights Live is December 17th. And you may have noticed in your email that we're sending out invitations and announcements for the gala in Dallas in February 17th through the 19th. You might want to get in first. We would hate to get filled up and then we can't let you in. So you probably want to sign up. I think that's all. One more thing before I go, just something I'd like to say is on behalf of myself and the Van Line and everybody involved with this production, we appreciate all that you do and keep on doing it. But I need a favor from you guys before I tell you Happy Thanksgiving. So Jared Carter, our CIO, Mark Kirshner, our CEO, and Craig Boriani, our Director of Agency Recruiting, they're all leaving at the end of the year. So I want you guys, and tell all your friends, to email all of these gentlemen, inundate them with emails saying goodbye, jokes, or nasty message, whatever. Nothing graphic, nothing bad, but just I want you to unload their emails with all types of stuff saying goodbye. It's got to be done by the end of December, but you can start today. Okay. So I want you guys to have a happy Thanksgiving. And wait, there's more question. Okay, all right, let's just make sure. Okay, all right. I think we have everything here. All right, good. So again, on behalf of all of us, happy Thanksgiving and wish you guys the best and have the good rest of your day. And it's a directive from Paul Salmon to inundate these guys with emails. So thank you so much and have a good day.